Our top focus right now continues to be the Kerala blast case. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has said that the probe into the multiple blasts at a religious gathering is progressing efficiently and has urged people to steer clear of controversies in connection with the blasts and, of course, to maintain some restraint in terms of circulating information and also maintain unity at this point in time. The Chief Minister has said that this was, of course, after visiting the blast site, which was the Zamra International Convention Center, and meeting the families of the victims who lost their lives in the tragic incident. He's also checked in on those who are receiving treatment at the local medical college, ensuring that they get the necessary care that they receive. The Chief Minister was, remember, holding a protest in the national capital for Palestinians when this blast, in fact, took place in Kerala. Ever since then, there has been, of course, a lot of political developments as well, where the BJP has begun its protest in Kerala against Pinarayi Vijayan. The BJP has hit out at the Chief Minister, saying that it is his soft peddling of certain organizations like the PFI that have resulted in this day in Kerala. What's really happening in Kerala? Why is it that every few months we end up having these conversations about what's cooking in Kerala? We take this conversation forward. I have with me Professor Madhav Nalapath. We also have with us Mr. B.L. Vora. I have with me Kuldeep Khoda and Professor Ronnie K. Baby as well on the broadcast. Let me begin this conversation with Professor Nalapath. Professor Nalapath, of course, keeping the politics of it all aside, sir, the fact that the BJP is hitting out at the Pinarayi Vijayan-run government, it's not false that, like I said, every few months we end up having conversations about Kerala. A few months ago, it was conversations about the PFI and the lack of any action by the state government, particularly against the PFI. Why do you think that the Kerala government has allowed these organizations, these radical organizations, to continue operating on its soil?
Well, I'd like to say that wherever the central government feels that the state government has been negligent in taking action against organizations that are risky to national security, the central government should step in and intervene and basically advise the state government to take action. And being a pragmatic individual, I think Pinarayi Vijayan will probably go ahead with that. But I am more disappointed, frankly, in the fact that he went to Delhi and addressed a meeting which, frankly, was, basically in support of Hamas. Now, the fact is that Hamas is not the Palestinian people. Hamas are not the people of Gaza. Hamas is a terror organization, and its methods are methods of terror. Secondly, Hamas has in its, if you look at its charter, it's completely opposed not only to the state of Israel, but implicitly to the entire Jewish community. It's basically calling for that community to suffer the same fate they suffered in the 20th century. I think these are all completely unacceptable views, and I don't think Hamas should be dignified by any dignitary from, especially an individual holding a constitutional post, basically, going into a meeting and basically which is giving implicit support to a terror organization. I think that the CPI and CPM, they are both very well-known national parties, and they need to do a lot of work if they want to come back in the national level. They're almost marginalized now. They need to understand that terror is a problem facing the whole of India, everybody in India. And, whether you're Hindu or Muslim or Christian or Sikh or Jewish, terror is something which is horrible and should be not condoned, but condemned in the strongest possible language. So I think that, frankly, was very unfortunate. And at the same day that he was at that meeting, this individual, who was a former member of this Jehovah's Witnesses congregation, he went and planted a bomb. Now, the point is that when you have this kind of if I may say so, this kind of a, almost a glorification of terror, then it kind of impels people to go in for this kind of activity. So I think it's important for every government in India to crack down on terror and to make very, very sure that none of its functionaries, especially the chief minister of a state, should in any way dignify terrorists or a terror organization, frankly, which in my view is exactly what happened. Although, wittingly or unwittingly, in Delhi, in the meeting that the chief minister attended.
All right, Professor Nalapat, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Mr. B.L. Bora, let me bring you into the conversation, sir. Why do you think that there hasn't been a clear call from the state government as far as crackdown on terror is concerned? Even now, we've not really heard the chief minister make a statement to say that yes, there will be a serious crackdown on terror. He says he's focusing more on ensuring that there is peace and harmony, that all people stay with harmony within the state. However, the problem within Kerala is much beyond that. We've had rallies earlier from the PFI. There have, of course, been numerous reports of many people joining the ISIS from Kerala, and today it has probably resulted in a bomb blast in Kerala. Do you think that the state government was perhaps under the assumption that these sort of rallies, allowing radical organizations to hold rallies, will never extend into what it has today, the reality that it has become today of a bomb blast?
The fact is that Chief Minister has failed in discharging his constitutional responsibility. Now, a series of things which have happened in this particular the last few days, and earlier also they have happened. Let us talk of this first. Hamas in the rally, the ex-Hamas chief was allowed to address the gathering by video. And he also talked of Hindutva, and he said bulldoze the Hindutva. I think it's a very simple case. A case of communal disharmony should have been registered, and the organizers should have been arrested. And why were they in the first case allowed to invite this person? So this one, the CM coming to Delhi in a meeting, holding protests here rather than looking after his state. Now, answer to your question, why has he not given an appeal for peace or taking action against terrorists? He has never done that. Because I think it's giving them political dividends, number one, very simple. Because CPM has been continuing in power. The two other states, have fallen, Bengal and Tripura. So they think this strategy pays them. And partly because there's a large number of people of the minority community there, and there are economic interests also involved. A lot of people are working in the Middle East. Now, Kerala has been the hotbed, and it is the center for the southern activities of these terrorists for a long time. Now, as a policeman, I also feel, Devika, that the police has also failed in the discharge of its duties. Let's talk of this blast case first. There were intelligence reports. Even if they were not, the fact that this incident had happened, police in the whole of the country surely would have been on the alert. And Kerala has large number of Jews also. So it was expected. Intelligence reports were there. No action was taken at all. Now, question arises, why police doesn't take action?
Yes.
Either it's incompetent.
And Mr. Bora, I'd like to understand from you, whose call then it is to take action on intelligence reports? Does the police have a free hand to take action as they deem fit, or are they supposed to run those reports and the action that they want to take by agencies of the state government as well?
You have hit the nail on the head. It is basically the responsibility of the police under the law. But the way we are working, police today in India has become private army of the political party in power in every state across the board, all political parties included, and for many, many years. Having said that, still I think police officers, they do owe some responsibility towards themselves to the Constitution of India. Where it's a question of terrorism, why should they compromise? Why should they listen to the orders? So no action was taken. And the tragedy is no action is taken against the policemen also. So some heads should have been rolled by now. The last point that I want to make at this juncture is about the investigation. NIA has taken over. This person who has surrendered, frankly, my hunch is maybe he's been just set up by somebody.
Right.
Of course, the investigation will reveal as to what the truth is behind. And today I was reading on some channel that he has probably links to some people in Dubai also. So I think sooner or later police will find out. But the point is about how about action taken? PFI also, no action was taken. In this case, yes, it will be charge sheeted, I'm sure, because NIA has taken over. So coming back to square one, Chief Minister and his political party, they will never ever condemn these kinds of communal actions or slogans because it pays them dividends. And there are many people who are supporting them behind the scenes. And some of these we can guess, the others we cannot guess. Over to you, Devika.
Right, absolutely. Mr. Vora, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Kuldeep Khora, let me bring you to the conversation, sir. I'd just like to understand from your perspective, basis the information that has come in and the manner in which this attack was orchestrated, it does not seem that this was a lone wolf that was working. It seems that this man did have the support of outsiders to plan this out. Just keeping the sheer logistics and the planning that it takes to hit an event of this scale.
On the face of it, it doesn't appear to be a lone wolf organized incident. Such actions are very well planned, and these actions are a result of conspiracy. It was a triple blast, which has resulted in loss of lives and injuries to around 50 odd people. And this sort of action cannot be a single-handed action, and the entire thing has to be totally unearthed. I'm sure that NIA, which has been handed over the investigation of the case, will go deep into it to find the links. And the possibility of its links to terrorists is real. And going by the background of the events which has happened in Kerala, the free run given to separatists and the terrorists, the previous speaker mentioned about ex-Hamas chief addressing the gathering, the way the state government is allowing terrorists and the terrorism supporters to operate in the state, the political establishment and also the police should be held squarely culpable for it. It amounts to aiding and abetting the terrorism, and it is going to have deep repercussions not only in state of Kerala but all over India. Already the potential protests which were likely to happen in Kashmir also have been put down with great effort. The incidents of stone pelting and the law and order incidents and terrorism has been controlled to a great extent. And if the organization like Hamas is allowed support, covertly or overtly or by action or inaction, the government of India needs to step in and take all possible action, because one person or one political party, for its political interests, for its policy of appeasement to terrorists, because it in turn will generate vote bank for him, should not be tolerated at all. And any encouragement to Hamas is going to embolden the terrorists in Kashmir also, which can have far greater repercussions in reviving terrorism in Kashmir. And Pakistan will also feel emboldened to launch actions. They have already activated the border.
Yes.
The border incident firing has increased. The infiltration attempts are increasing. The terrorists are waiting at launching pads. And any sort of support which is coming now from the top political establishment at the chief minister's level to the terrorists is going to have deep repercussions for the country, and government of India needs to step in right at the moment and take all possible preventive and other actions which are required.
But Mr. Khora, in your personal assessment, sir, as a former DGP of a state, I'd just like to understand, do you feel that what has happened at the convention center in Kerala, this blast, it needs to be looked at as an isolated event, or do we draw some sort of a connection to as you mentioned, there's a Hamas rally that happens. There's Pakistan activating, ceasefire violations at the border suddenly after 3 years, and then this blast takes place.
No, it is very apparent that it is not an isolated incident. It is connected with the efforts which are now going on to revive unrest in the country and also revive the terrorism which has been put down with heavy hand all over the country. We didn't have any significant terrorist incidents during last few years, and this is they are testing the waters. They are seeing how far they can go and how far the state is going to react to such incidents. Otherwise, people both in India and across the border are ready to activate their sleeping cells, to activate their overground workers and the separatists to create a chaos in different parts of the country. And the first states which will get more affected are the places where the political establishment is indirectly supporting these activities.
Okay, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Professor Ronnie, given that a lot of the initial evidence points to the fact that this is not an isolated incident possibly, and this is not a lone wolf attack, that this could be a larger conspiracy that has been orchestrated, and this man who has made this confession video could possibly even just be a scapegoat. Given all of these realities at this point in time, what is the true test of Pinarayi Vijayan? As Mr. Kuldeep Khora was also pointing out, that this could possibly be the larger enemies of India testing waters.
It is really unfortunate that since long time there is an organized attempt to discredit Kerala's achievements, or to generalize or portray Kerala as a hub of international terrorism. I am not agree with these arguments which the learned persons who put forward just before me. The incident yesterday was just an isolated event. This is the first time that in Kerala that a death was reported in a bomb blast. And ever since before that, no death cases. Okay, some isolated bomb blasts were there. 2-3 months back, there was a blast in a train at Kannur. Or some single isolated events were there. But in those incidents, the police acted very swiftly, and the police cracked down and arrested the persons who are responsible for that activities. And I want to say that nobody in Kerala is supporting Hamas. We are with Palestine. It's since our freedom movement, it is the stand of India that we are supporting not only the Palestine, wherever there is kind of aggressions are there, we are supporting with the victims. So the people of Kerala, I think the majority of the people in Kerala, they are with Palestine, and I want to categorically say that we are not with Hamas. Whoever propagating violence, or whoever following radical kind of activities, we are totally opposing them. And that Kerala is one state with high literacy and a high political culture, a very high.
But Professor Ronnie, you can't deny the fact, nobody is saying that the whole state of Kerala is supporting Hamas. So let me firstly clarify that this is not an attempt to paint Kerala in a poor light. It is possibly a question of the Chief Minister right now and what his next actions will be, because that could very well define the future of Kerala within India in the coming decades. Does Kerala want to come across as a state which allows PFI rallies from where there have been reports of ISIS recruitments, and now where there has been this bomb blast? Or does Kerala, or for that matter, even allowing a Hamas leader? When you say that Keralites are in support of Palestinians, would you agree that there is a difference between Palestine and Hamas?
See, today there was an all-party meeting today were taken place in Kerala, in which ruling CPM, opposition Congress, and BJP, all the parties have participated, and they categorically rejected all kinds of terrorist activities. I want to being the question of Palestinian and Hamas. We are supporting Palestinian. We are not supporting Hamas. We are with the Palestinian
Exactly,
people. And,
exactly. So, Professor Ronnie, why allow a Hamas leader at the rally? No, that's the question that everybody is asking. That, of course, you support innocent people of Palestine who have also been killed in the war and previously. But why would you then allow a Hamas leader? Why would Kerala government give permission? And if the government had not given permission, if the government or the cops did not know who will be the guest speaking at this rally, what action has been taken after the rally?
All of us very well knows that Hamas, no outfit of Hamas or no unit of Hamas is operating in Kerala or in any part of India. So far, no evidence has been come out that any kind of Hamas activities is going on in India.
Not Hamas activity, Professor Ronnie. I'm talking about the rally that took place. You can call it a pro-Palestine rally that took place in Kerala. I'm saying that there was a Hamas leader. There's a video. We can't deny that fact, no? Or did the people who were organizing the rally, they had no idea who is the person that they're calling?
As far as of my knowledge, Indian Union Muslim League, which is one of the major political party in Kerala, they convened a rally. Only that outfit or only that organization has conducted a massive rally a few days back in Kerala. In that rally, I haven't seen any news reports in Kerala that a Hamas leader, which as you saying now that has participated in that meeting. No evidence I can see. It's a false propaganda. I want to categorically say that no that kind of Hamas participation was.
Sir, there was a Hamas leader who virtually addressed the rally. Let's not deny that, please.
Yeah. There was some, a kind of a responsible leader of Indian Union Muslim League. He says that okay, Hamas is a freedom movement, and Hamas is fighting for the freedom of Palestine. There are differences of opinion, as you know that regarding our Indian freedom movement, there are differences of opinion. Some people saying that some militant outfits were part of our Indian freedom movement, like that. Okay, some people, we can't reject their freedom of thinking. Some thinking that Hamas is a freedom movement, but the majority of the people, I can say that Kerala is a secular state, and majority of the people, more than 99% of the people, I strongly, I want to say that.
But it's always, Professor Ronnie, it's always the 1% that becomes a problem. That's the point that I'm trying to highlight. You're saying 99% people think that Hamas, that they don't support Hamas. Even right now, we're having trouble saying that Hamas is a terrorist organization. Why aren't we saying it?
In every religion, you know that there are kind of people who are extremely following ideas, extremely thinking. You know that in some cases of militant activities, we're reporting within the Hindu community also, about the Hindutva forces. There were some kind of allegations were there. There are some outfits within the Hindu religious groups. They are following militant kind of thinking.
What thing? What militant thing? No, exactly my point. Where are we taking this conversation? Now we've made it about Hindu terror. Are we making about Hindu terrorism?
It's there in Malagaon.
My point is simple. You want to support the people of Palestine? Please go ahead and support them. But why are we confusing Palestine with Hamas? And then we're completely in denial of the fact that a Hamas leader was virtually addressing a rally in Kerala. Why?
I want to deny this statement that no Hamas leader has participated in any meeting in Kerala. I am from Kerala. I know all the newspaper reports. I'm seeing all the newses. I want to clearly say that no Hamas leader is there in Kerala, and nobody from Hamas attended.
All right. Let me cross check with Professor Madhav Nalapad, because last I read, it was Hamas leader. Professor Nalapad, what have you read about that very recent case? When we talk about PFI, one can say that some action has been taken against the PFI now. ISIS, yes, we can say some action has been taken. Given that Hamas is the real actual problem at the moment, sir, if you can just help clarify. Because like I said, last I read, a Hamas leader was virtually addressing a rally in Kerala. But Professor Ronnie here says he's completely denying and calling it fake news.
Look, the fact of the matter is, Israel is a state. Israel has a right to exist. The Jewish people were subjected to the worst kind of genocide in the 20th century. and Israel was created as a consequence of that. The Jewish people have a right to exist, and Israel has a right to exist. Now, supposing you deny that right, and then you say you can use any method, killing, rape, murder, bombs, to basically, to remove that right, and for Israel to cease to exist, and the Jewish people to cease to exist, I think one is crossing a line. I think so far as this case is concerned, one has to look in the motivations of Mr. Martin. Who motivated him to plant bombs, for example? Who gave him the training to plant the bombs? The reality is that supposing you're angry with some organization, Professor Ronnie, for example, he will write a strong letter to the organization. He may write a strong letter to some newspaper. He's not going to, produce material to procure a bomb and then place that bomb there.
Yes.
Who motivated him to do that? That's a very important question that needs to be asked. Look what happened in Dagestan. Now, the effort of Hamas is to make this kind of fire happen throughout the world. And if they do that, all communities will be harmed. Every single community will be harmed. So I would only request Professor Ronnie, please don't justify an act of terror against a legitimate state, and don't equate that legitimate state with the colonial occupation of India. And by the way, India was partitioned on the grounds of religion, because people said, like Hamas is saying, that Hindus and Muslims are different people. I believe Hindus, Muslims and Christians and Jews are the same people. They cannot be separated. And partition happened because a lot of people believe that no, Muslims and Hindus are separate nations. Please, Professor Ronnie, don't fall into that same trap. We are all one. Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Jews, Sikhs, we are all one. And please don't fall into a trap of basically condoning or any kind of organization that is resulting in violence against a legally, lawfully established state, where, may I say, 20% of the population are Arabs. They are Palestinian, and they have full voting rights. And recently they were in the cabinet. I hope tomorrow they will come back into the cabinet. But 20% of the population of Israel, enjoying the rights of an Israeli citizen, are Palestinian. Now, to tell me what rights do the citizens of Gaza have at the hands of Hamas?
Exactly.
Nothing except the right to be killed if you oppose Hamas. Let Professor Ronnie go to Gaza and then talk against Hamas, and we'll see what happens to Professor Ronnie. So please, I would request the good professor, he's a decent person, and I quite agree with him. Kerala is a wonderful state. It's a tourism hub of India. Remittances also flow from Kerala. But please, Professor Ronnie, don't fall into the trap of legitimizing terror and terrorist organizations by the specious argument. It's a freedom movement. It's freedom from democracy, freedom to practice cruelty, freedom to have complete dictatorship. That is what the kind of freedom represented there. And any part of the world, whether it's in Afghanistan, I've been there. Syria, I've been there. You go to various other parts, Iraq, all these different parts of the world, and I've been to a fair amount of them. Wherever you have terrorists running the place, the people are in poverty. They're in utter shambles, and prosperity is gone.
And we have our own neighbor. We have our own neighbor, Professor Nalapat. We have our own neighbor to look at for that.
Exactly.
I've run out of time, but I thank all of my panelists for taking this conversation forward. It's a very serious issue that we were trying to address of what is it that the Chief Minister of Kerala now needs to do, given that there have been instances in the past that have been raised, and perhaps the action taken is not enough. So what will be the next action?
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.